Hey guys, counting against my review for this week of Big Brother so far, episodes 30 to 31. Now, if you guys are wondering, why are you viewing Big Brother right now and not, Thursday? If you know you're viewed on Thursday, you guys know tomorrow's a double eviction, and, I don't want us to have a 50-minute episode, because I know a lot is probably gonna happen on the double eviction, unless we have a Steve win, then who knows what's gonna happen. That's anyone's guess, really. But because of it being a double eviction tomorrow night, I'm going to cover both Sunday and Wednesday night's episode tonight, and then tomorrow night, of course, I will do the double eviction episode. And going into this week, I really didn't know what was going to happen, I have to say. Well, I did actually know what was going to happen, because the competition literally lasted 13 minutes. I talked about this before. I really wasn't looking forward to this week. I really wasn't. I mean, it turned out to be a really pathetic jury competition overall. If you guys don't know, if you guys didn't see my Thursday, review, I actually said point blank who won, because literally while I was doing the review, they had finished the competition. So I wasn't gonna not tell you, obviously. I was not gonna do that and be a dick to you guys. Because I like spoilers, honestly. I know a lot of people hate spoilers. Something like this, I don't give a shit, because it's something that happened. I don't care, about, if I find out live feed spoilers, I don't get all in a hustle about it, because to me, spoilers for, like, a TV show or something, oh yeah, I get really pissed. But something like this, where it's a reality show, and it's, like, real life, I don't really care. And I don't think you guys really do either. If you do, please comment, and I'll try not to spoil anything again. I just did that because I figured it was really pathetic, and I wanted to do a rant about it. And I knew, basically, that because of this, they were going to try to stretch out Sunday night's episode as long as possible, and what do you know? They literally take the first 13 minutes, then go to commercial, and then come back and do the rest of the competition. And I thought that was really silly that they did that. And I have to say that it was pretty underwhelming, definitely. I mean, we got some things of Becky, Jackie, and Shelly. However, I have to say, I feel the worst for Jackie, because Jackie did not mean to fall. She slipped off, and you could tell that Jackie really wanted to get back in the house. To me, it seemed like Jackie was the one who pretty much had the best chances of getting back in. I mean, if you were to tell me that it was down to Shelly and Johnny Mac in the final two for jury, I would have been like, no, there's no way. But that's exactly what happened, and it's mainly because Jackie slipped off, and then Becky fell shortly after. I didn't think Becky was going to come back in, but Jackie, for me, seemed like she was ready to get back in there, wanted to do some damage, and I feel she would have. If Jackie would have stayed in, she probably would have won HOH even. I mean, I could have seen that happening. Just how strong Jackie was, and how much of she was willing to fight in there. I mean, it was really great. I do have to say, though, the jury pretty much had, like, the easiest road, pretty much, because, they got to chill and relax for a couple, for, like, all these days, and then just have to play in this comp for 13 minutes. So, it really sucked overall, that basically it just got sent back to the jury house. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a competition go faster than that one did. It's pretty pathetic that that happened. But basically, Johnny Mac gets back into the game, which, okay, whatever. I do have to say that, Johnny Mac, I really do like the guy, but they are starting to show less and less of him, so he's kind of starting to become irrelevant. I think he still has a good chance of winning the game. This week, at least, he's kind of irrelevant besides one thing that happens. Other than that, he's kind of just like, he's there, but he's really not, he's talked about, he's there, but we don't really see a lot of him in tonight's episode, at least. Sunday's episode, we got some good stuff, but tonight's episode, we only saw Johnny Mac, I think, about 3 times, and we'll get into that, but basically, it comes down to Johnny Mac and Vanessa. Johnny Mac tells Vanessa that he'll ally with her, and that he'll go with her and everything, and basically, Vanessa ends up winning HOH, which I already told you guys, and, I was not looking forward to this, because we know Vanessa, she panics, she gets, HOH-itis, she goes crazy, she thinks of everything as this major twist, she thinks everyone's related to each other. I mean, she's crazy, she really is. I mean, again, she's just crazy. And I think this episode really proved that all that crying, it's been real. It's been real, and I don't know why the game gets to her so much, but she is just, I think she's a very good player, but she really, I mean, if she really wants to do well in the game, she needs to not cry as much, and I think that, honestly, is going to be her downfall. I know she's HOH right now, but it's gonna be her downfall in a couple of weeks because we're down to 8 players, and me personally, if I was in the house, I wouldn't want to handle that nonsense. I really wouldn't. I mean, I don't want to have this person just crying over the stupidest shit, and we're gonna get into that, but basically, I do like what Vanessa decides to do. It very much reminded me of when Judd got back into the house in Big Brother 15. He decided to go off on a clean slate, and of course allied with Alyssa, because she was the HOH, and they had that bond. Then, of course, that horrible Exterminators Alliance happened. I've been watching Big Brother 15 lately. I don't know why, but I have. Speaking of Big Brother 15, I do have something to tell you guys about that in a second, but basically, Vanessa goes to Johnny Mac, and Johnny Mac and Vanessa, of course, said that they would have started a deal together, and they decide to go on that. They basically start a 3-person alliance with Steve, but you know it's not really real because they don't give it a name, and in my opinion, when you don't give an alliance a name, it's not real. It's like something that you're doing, but it's mainly a side alliance if another one doesn't work. And like, Vanessa's like, alright, Austin's Angels might not work, so I'm gonna go with Johnny Mac and Steve, and that's what's gonna happen there. So that's basically what she decides to do, is go with Johnny Mac and Steve. And yeah, so that's basically what ends up happening there. Now let's talk about Austin and Liz. Oh my god, this was so stupid. I have never seen a more pathetic Big Brother relationship than Lizton. I mean, there have been some really weird ones. For example, anyone remember in Big Brother 14, Shane and Danielle? Yeah, that was weird. Amanda and McCrae. There's always seems to be this one relationship that's just so strange. Last year, it was Amber and Caleb, even though it was, like, non-existent. It wasn't really, like, they weren't... Actually, no. Last year's was Cody and Christine. Big Brother 15 was Amanda and McCrae. Big Brother 14 was Shane and Danielle. I like both of them. I do have to say that. I did like both of them, but their relationship was very strange. And this year, we have Liz and Austin. It seems like there's always going to be that weird, Big Brother pairing, and this could not have been weirder. I mean, anytime Austin, like, says something about Liz, it creeps me out, okay? It's creepy. I don't know what it is, but it's creepy. Basically, he asks her, do you want to be my official girlfriend? And I'm like, you're in the Big Brother house! This is not time to do that. It's time to take some people out. And the worst part of this, I would not be as pissed with Austin if I would not have found out the information that I found out. Now, what I'm about to tell you guys, I basically found out from Rob Has a Podcast. If you guys know Rob Sestardino, he does this thing called Rob Has a Podcast. Check it out. I always watch it. I'm probably going to watch it after this review because I always do that. He's awesome. But basically, he brought this up, and I just want to tell you guys, I'm not trying to steal from him. I'm just saying this because I think this is really interesting. Austin was actually a commentator for AfterBuzz TV. If you guys know AfterBuzz TV, they recap shows. He was a recapper, and there's actually a video I have of Austin basically talking about what he's gonna do and, you know, what he wants in the game. It's all about Big Brother 15 when that horrible move happened when they evicted Alyssa, and he talks about what he wants in the game. I'm gonna play a little bit of it for you guys. I hope I don't get copyright, but I'm gonna play a little bit of it because I want you guys to see what this Austin was and now the Austin that we have in the house is.
A major game move, and that's where we're going to talk about major game moves here today because he didn't make that major game move. And earlier on in the week, you know, McCrae, when Amanda and Alyssa are creating their whole alliance, solidifying it, that was a time for McCrae to really go around the house and start to play a little bit on his own because he was...
How McCrae should have this alliance because of the fact that he, you know, basically is playing like McCrae. He really is. He's done nothing in the game. He's done some stuff here and there, but he really hasn't proven himself to be that good of a player at all. I think he's done some stuff, but he really hasn't proven himself to be a good player really at all. I think Austin, you know, he sticks by Liz, but other than that, I mean, that's really all this is, and it really sucks because you can see that this Austin, this Austin right here, AfterBuzz TV Austin, yeah, see him on AfterBuzz TV. I was shocked too. I watched this video like years ago. I didn't even know this was Austin. I think it's pretty incredible that he's went from this to, I think, one of the most pathetic house guests ever. Just the fact that all he cares about is Liz is ridiculous. You do see that he does have a thing for women when he talks about Jessie and this, and he's like, oh, I was in love with her. And, it's really pathetic that he's gone from this really great court to this really great, podcaster and AfterBuzz to this really pathetic house guest. So Liz and Austin, I don't want to get into it. It was really weird when he asked her to be his girlfriend, and I was surprised that Liz said yes after their fight, but I guess they rekindled things, and I really didn't like it. I thought it was pretty stupid that they did that. So basically, Vanessa decides to come after James and Meg. That's what her main goal is here. Mainly because she doesn't feel James and Meg will have her back, but James remembers that basically him and Vanessa, when he was HOH, had this deal that when they were down to the final six, that she would not put him up. And my problem with this is that James and Meg do not go to tell Vanessa about this, and I don't know why, but for whatever reason, they don't tell Vanessa what they plan on doing. They don't tell Vanessa about this deal, even though they had a deal. Probably the best thing for them to do was to go tell Vanessa, hey, we have this deal, we have this deal. You said you wouldn't put me up. Could you not put me up this week? Me personally, I think the best person to get out probably would be Austin and the twins, but obviously Vanessa's not going to get them out because that's part of Austin's Angels, and they're pretty certain that they're almost to the final four. Now, also, I do want to point out that Liz and Julia, people have said they're not very strong players. The reason that because Julia and Liz, they're not very smart. Let's face it, they're not very smart. Julia is even starting to, I think, show that she's not very smart. But I think the reason they're so strong is because they're a trio. They're not a power duo. They're a trio. And if you get one out, then you basically take down a whole, army, basically. That's kind of what it is if you get out Austin and the twins. And I know nobody wants to do that, which sucks because they should, but they don't want to do that. They don't want to get Austin and the twins. I don't know why, but they don't want to do it. And yeah, so she basically decides to nominate James and Meg, and James does whatever he can to get this power veto, and that's basically how Sunday night's episode concluded. So as you can tell, really not much happened on Sunday. Oh, there was a great thing, though. I love how Julia couldn't scare James, but she scared Austin. I thought that was pretty funny when we saw that. Just seeing Julia, that whole storyline. I love the Captain Camo storyline, and Julia's no Captain Camo, but it is pretty hilarious to watch. Like I said, make a sitcom around these three after Big Brother 17. I'm all for it. I think you guys should be for it. CBS, can we make this happen? Because I know they're horrible, they're really stupid house guests, but it would make for an awesome sitcom. It honestly would. I would love to see these three have a show together because they're hilarious to watch. I don't like them. I really don't. Even Julie, I'm starting to really not like. But I think as a duo, they're really funny to watch, definitely, especially when they're arguing. It's hilarious. So, basically, let's get into tonight's episode, which was pretty insane. I mean, tonight's episode had so much going on, and I really loved it. One of my favorite episodes of the season by far, I have to say. I think it was one of the strongest. Basically, James and Meg know they are in this problem now, and that basically they're no longer just part of this alliance. Excuse me. Brass Tacks is basically dead at this point, and James is telling Meg he's going to do whatever he can to get that veto for her and, to get the veto to get himself off the block, and basically that's what he plans to do. And I thought that was very great. I like seeing James in, this beast mode cowboy, if you will. I mean, I know that's Caleb's thing from last year, but that really is what James did. He went into, beast mode in this episode, and it was pretty awesome, I have to say. I definitely really like watching that. We get some information in this episode about what happened with James and his daughter Bailey. Basically, I guess James, because of how much of a partier he is, got drunk one night, and then 9 months later, he was told he had a daughter. I think that's pretty funny, but that's totally something James would do, and I think it's really funny that we found that out, and I really found that out. I thought that was very funny, and I'm really not surprised that that happened to James, because that totally seemed like something that would happen with James, and I thought that was definitely very funny. I really enjoyed that. Basically, what happens after this is, James plans on getting the power veto, as I said, but Vanessa is really hoping that she gets it and wants to do whatever she can to make sure that happens. And basically that's what's going on there. As I said, not too much Johnny Mac stuff in this episode, not too much Steve, really getting sidelined to the side because they really didn't have much to do with what was going on. Meg gets a lot of screen time, though, which is unusual, but I kind of like it because, as I've told you guys before, Meg and James might not be playing the best game, but they're very entertaining to watch, and that's really one of the things that's making the season for me, is while we don't have the best players, we do have some very entertaining characters, and I really do like watching them, I have to say. I mean, Meg and James, they're really fun. I like watching them. I know Meg is, really weak and things like that. They even had a montage of all the house guests calling her grandma and how much she's catched on to. I thought that was pretty funny. But basically, veto players are chosen, and it's all Austin and the Twins. It's all Austin and the Twins, so they're in this very bad situation now where basically James has to do whatever he can to win this veto, and the veto competition I thought was pretty interesting, but it was the perfect veto competition for James because it's all about hiding stuff. You take this veto card and you hide it, and you basically hope to God that nobody gets your veto card, and if they do, you are eliminated. And I thought that's like the perfect thing for James, because obviously Captain Camo, he's great at that, and I thought James did a really good job with what he did. He hit it in a cushion. He was very good with being the sneaky, sly person that he is. That's something James does very well, is that he's very sly, and he's very sneaky, and I think he's very good with that. Excuse me. But basically, I thought the power veto went pretty well, actually. I really like watching it. I thought it was a really interesting veto that we saw. I like they were trying to change some stuff. It was very much like the luxury competition last year where well, I never talked about this, but all the jurors just, came in and destroyed the entire house. It was pretty fucking awesome. I mean, that was also when Nicole won. That was also when, no, it was Hayden that won the luxury competition, which I thought was pretty fun, I definitely really enjoyed that. But basically, going back to this, we see that, we basically see after this that James is the one that doesn't end up getting his veto card found, so he wins POV, and it was down to him and Austin, and luckily James gets it, and James after this just goes into full-on beast mode where I'm gonna, protect myself and protect Meg, do whatever I can. He's not playing Mr. Nice Guy anymore, and I think that's really good. My problem is that I think James is definitely setting himself up for a target. As we know, tomorrow night is a double eviction. However, of course, Vanessa cannot, which is why, of course, I'm reviewing this episode for you guys. Why would I be reviewing this if it wasn't a double eviction? However, yeah, Vanessa can't play in the HOH, but who else can? Austin, Liz, Julia, well, if she's still there, which we'll get into, they can still play. And we know that those three will basically go after James no matter what happens, or Meg if they're still there. So they're definitely going to go after them. But I really like what James says to Vanessa. I thought it was great that he actually had the balls to say this. He kind of has told her what she's needed to hear. I mean, she doesn't believe any of this. Vanessa, I will admit, is in a very tough position at this point because she has to put up one of her allies on the block, and she's pretty much allied with all these people, and she needs to decide who's the best person to put up, and I thought it was actually interesting to see her go through this. Obviously, I don't like the crying and the, oh my god, fuck this. It's like, it was so annoying. Honestly, so annoying. I start laughing, and if it wouldn't be for the crying, I would like Vanessa, but I just can't get past it. I'm sorry. It's so annoying. Every 5 seconds, she's crying about something. Every 5 seconds, she's upset. I mean, how annoying is that? It's so annoying. I can't take it. It's so annoying to me, and I can't help it when Vanessa's just crying all the time. It's like, okay, yeah, I get it. You're upset. This is hard for you. But just, calm down, move on, and it's really stupid. I don't want to talk about it. It's very distracting to me. But basically, Vanessa is in a very tough position now, and she basically says the best thing they can do is put up Julia, which I thought was very interesting that she said Julia, but yeah, it actually does make the most sense, because Austin and Liz have won a lot of competitions, and they're threatening that way, and if either of them went up on the block, they would probably go over Meg, because Meg is not threatening at all, really, and the only reason she's really getting out of Meg is for personal reasons, and again, I hate that Vanessa always has to have a reason to put someone on the block. It's really dumb, and basically, that's what they plan on doing, but Julia does make a good point, that Johnny Mac might come after them if he wins HOH, which I do think he has a good chance of doing. I know it hasn't happened yet, but I really feel now that he's back in the house, now that he's kind of resurrected and, back there, I feel like definitely he's going to try to do some damage. I don't know how, but I definitely feel like double eviction, that's what's going to happen. Please don't let Steve win double eviction. That's going to be really annoying if that happens, but basically, she talks to James, and James just goes off on Vanessa. This was awesome. Honestly, probably one of my favorite scenes this season. I thought this was really awesome to watch because James basically tells Vanessa that you're playing too hard, I'm coming after you, you need to stop crying, you need to stop thinking so much, and just pick a target, because that's really what she needs to do. Pick a target, stick with it, and move on. It's nothing personal. She takes everything so personally. The thing I don't understand is that she's willing to backstab people, but she takes it so personally. Then don't backstab that person. It's that simple. If you're gonna cry over, I mean, HOH should never cry. They should do things because that's what they want. James targeted Clay and Shelly when he did because that's who he wanted to get out. James targeted the people that he wanted to target because that's who his target was. And I really feel that while Vanessa is doing a good job with picking targets, she really needs to not take everything so personally and not think that everyone's pissed at her, because she always thinks that. And yeah, James, I think, is coming after her, but I thought that was really awesome that James basically gave her the reality check that she needed, because he needs to tell her what she needs. He needed to tell her that, and she needed to hear that, and I thought that was awesome when he did that. However, now Vanessa knows what she has to do. She knows she has to put up Julia. That's exactly what she does. And basically, Julia goes up, and now it's down to Julia and Meg, and either of them will be leaving tomorrow. Now, I will say, Julia's probably the one to get out. I honestly definitely could see Julia leaving tomorrow, because you get out Julia, that's one less part of the Austwins. Now you just have Liz to get rid of, and that shouldn't be too hard. You get rid of one, the other one's not going to be as strong. Like, if you get rid of Liz, Austin is no longer strong. The only reason Austin is as strong as he is because of Liz. Because Liz is winning all these comps. That's why Austin won a comp, because he has that motivation. Liz is gone. He doesn't really have that motivation anymore. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see where that goes. I do think one of them is definitely going to make it to the end at this point. Basically, they have to, unless something happens on the double eviction. But they couldn't really have picked a better night for a double eviction. I see things going really, really unexpected tomorrow. Hopefully it's not another Jackie goes. I hope it's not that, because I want someone who is strong. I want James to really win HOH tomorrow and do some damage and get out the people that need to go. I mean, it's just, you need to get rid of all the Austwins, because if you don't get rid of them, they're gonna make it to the end. And if they don't get rid of them by tomorrow, if Julia, Liz, and Austin are still in the house by the end of tomorrow's double eviction, I can guarantee they're gonna be in the final four. That's really what it comes down to, and one of them is gonna win the game. It's just, they're that strong that I really don't see another scenario happening where they couldn't win the game. Same if you don't get out Vanessa. If Vanessa doesn't get out tomorrow, she's winning the game. It's that simple. I don't really want her to win the game. Would she be the best possible choice? No, I think, honestly, James would be the best possible choice. He, in my opinion, has really played the best game. I think Vanessa's playing a good game, but it's nothing extraordinary. It's, a lot of people like to compare it to Derek, and again, I do see that comparison somewhat, but then I also see the comparison of she's whiny and she's, very personal. She's like Derek mixed with Amanda. That very much is what she is, because Amanda always took things so personally. She always cried. She was always very upset, and Derek never did. He never really let anything bother him, and I think Vanessa should have basically done what Audrey did, just going like Dexter Morgan. I know it's hard to do. I know that house changes you, but I really feel that Vanessa that basically is her downfall in the game, is that she's crying too much, and that really is what's making her gameplay not as good as it could be. And that's basically it for this review. I'm very interested in seeing what's going to happen tomorrow. Who's going to leave, James, or, not James, Julia or Meg? Do you think that James might win HOH? Like I said, if James wins HOH, he's probably in the best position to win. I really do see that happening. Whoever gets out, Vanessa, Julia, or the Austwins, deserves to win the game by far because they actually had the balls to do it. They pulled off successfully, and probably a double eviction is probably the best time to do because there's no time to talk. There's no time to, let's try and make a deal with these people. There's no point for that. There's no time. So you can just get them out, get out one, and then there's one less threat to the rest of the house, basically. I think it's going to be very interesting to see where that goes. If Vanessa does stay tomorrow, which I don't see likely, if James wins, I very much see either Vanessa or the Austwins leaving. That's definitely who's going to leave. If Johnny Mac or Steve wins as well, I see that happening. The only scenario I couldn't see it happening is if the Austwins win, which I really hope doesn't happen. But if Johnny Mac, Steve, or James win, or Meg, if she's still there, then I could, which Meg will never win HOH, but who knows, maybe that could happen. That'd be really interesting. I mean, if Steve can win HOH randomly, then I think Meg can win HOH. But basically, if that does happen, then I think basically they need to take that opportunity to get out Vanessa or the Austwins. That really is who needs to go, and I can't wait to see what happens on the double eviction tomorrow. But that's basically my review. Hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you guys thought of this week so far. Who do you think is going to go? Who's the target? And I will see you guys in my next video, which will finally, we've been waiting so long for this, guys. They preempted the episode last week, and now finally I can review the season finale, Mr. Robot, because it finally happens tonight. And I can't wait for it because I've waited for it for a week, and finally I can watch it tonight, which is awesome. I can't wait for it, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.